Hi, everyone. Welcome to Comedicine. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah Boston. We just wrapped season 1 of Comedicine, our inaugural season, and it was so much fun. Thank you so much for listening and sharing and rating us and all the things you do. Honestly, I'm so happy to have the support. This is not really a full episode. It's a pseudo-episode. It is a compilation of the last question that we ask all of our guests on Comedicine, which is, of course, to invite Dr. Ken Jeong to be a guest on Comedicine. Ken, if you're out there, we made this for you. So it's made for Ken, but you guys can listen to because I think it's pretty funny. Every guest has done their best pitch to try to get Ken to come on the show. So I hope you enjoy listening and keep subscribing and following because we have a great season coming up in the new year. And thank you so much. All right, first up, we have Dr. Ted Morris, otherwise known as Dr. Ted. He's an amazing stand-up comedian based in Toronto. He's a veterinarian. He's my friend. And here's his pitch to Ken.
I don't think you're that busy these days. I haven't seen you on anything in a while. Is this the wrong tactic? Ken, I know you're lonely. Come on. You want to talk to people. You want to talk to your peers. I mean, we're not your peers. We're better than your peers because we're veterinarians. You come on and if you want to have a little cry about how things are going. No, I love Ken Jeong. How would I invite him? Would he want to come on? Sure he would.
I think of course he would.
Tell us all your secrets.
All right. I think that's going to do it. I mean, I think I'm just going to send him the clip of that.
I'll be shocked if that doesn't work.
Probably by my 4th episode, Ken will be here.
Could you stop harassing me? Okay, fine. I'll do it. I wasn't busy.
Next up, we have Dr. Vien Phommachanh. He is the comic doc. He's also a stand-up comedian based in Florida. Sometimes we call him the snot doctor. He's amazing. He's my friend. He may have crossed paths with Dr. Ken Jeong, so we're hoping that this pitch really nails it for us.
He was a physician in New Orleans. Apparently he practiced at Ochsner. And the story, as I understand it, was that he was discovered at the Creole Comedy Festival. Like an NBC exec had seen him there and then took, whatever happened. He ended up in LA. I went to Tulane, which is in New Orleans. And supposedly, I don't know if this is true. These could be made up things in my head, but I think we overlapped. Like I was in school. I was there for a long time. I was there from high school. Well, I graduated high school, college. I was there for 10 years. From 95 to 2005, I was in New Orleans. And I think he was there at some point. So there was a possibility I passed him in the halls, in the hospital, like me in my short coat and him in his long coat. So if you ever saw a shaky, skinny Asian guy with glasses, which is like half the Asian guys in medical school, it might have been me. That was the story. That wasn't the answer to your question.
I love it.
What I would ask him is, there was no roadmap for this. He's the first one, as far as I know, to ever be a physician, to go into comedy, to ditch it. Like, how the heck? Because I had him to look at. I had him to be like, you did this. I can do this. Like nobody had ever done it before. And I can't even imagine being the first person to have, about the people sleeping on the couches who have nothing, and they were going to make it. Like that story's been written. They don't write the story about the guy who makes 6 figures and has a full-time busy practice who decides one day to go for broke. I guess I want to know how and why, and just tell me the story of that. That's what I want.
That's why we need you, Ken.
Yeah. Come on and tell me. Do I look familiar?
Okay.
That's the other part.
All right. When he comes on, I'm going to ask him about that. Our 3rd episode was Dr. Cory Jenks. He's a PharmD. He is also an improv comedian and he's amazing. He's trying to help healthcare professionals like us do better through improv. So here's what he had to say to Dr. Ken.
Dr. Ken, this podcast deserves a real doctor on it, and I did not fit that bar at all. I am but a mere pharmacist who loves your work in Community and many other works, and would love to follow your footsteps of making other people laugh someday. But yeah, I've set the bar so low that you will come on here and just crush it because people will just be expecting someone like me, and then when they get you, they will really enjoy their experience.
For episode 4, we had Dr. Caroline Brookfield, who is another small animal veterinarian. She also is a keynote speaker, and creativity is her jam. And she also does stand-up comedy. We have a great talk about creativity. She tries to convince Ken to come on the show.
And this is the ghost of comedy past. You're going to regret if you don't come on Dr. Sarah Boston's podcast and share your wisdom with the world. Because really, what harm could it do? Did you die? That's the line from Hangover.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
so
that was good. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's a scene where they all do something and they think he's dead. And then he shows up the next day and they're like, dude, we've had this rough day and it's been really tough. Like, cut us some breaks or whatever. And he's like, yeah, but did you die?
No one died. Or did anyone die? Or did any animal die? No. Then it's an okay day.
And Ken, you will not die if you come on Sarah's podcast.
No, it'll be fun, Ken. Just do it. It'll be amazing.
Bring the Kenergy.
That's a different Kenergy, but yeah, we want some Kenergy. Episode 5 was super fun. We had Dr. Natalie Tinney on. She is a Peruvian-Canadian physician, just completing her internal medicine residency. And she does stand-up just for fun. Just for fun, guys. Imagine that. Just something to do on the side. Not competitive at all. Natalie was so much fun. And here's how she invited Ken Jeong to come on the podcast.
Please come on Sarah's podcast. She's very funny. And you will enjoy being interviewed by her. You have to do it. If you don't do it, then you'll make a bunch of teacup Yorkshire Terriers very sad. So please do this.
We also had a dentist on season 1, Dr. Dan Greenstein. He just goes by Dr. Dan, the healthcare entertainer. He's a stand-up comedian. He's pretty old school. I love talking to him. And here's what he had to say to Dr. Ken Jeong.
Dr. Ken, you are missing out by not coming on Comedicine. You will blow up after being with Dr. Sarah Boston. You think you're big now? Forget it. You're going to be worldwide, even bigger than you are now, all across the country. So you've got to go on there with her. She's amazing. She's funny. She's great. And there's nothing else out there. I'm just amazed that she's doing this. And this is definitely for you, Dr. Ken.
All right, I think it's a good tactic. All right. If Glaucomflecken can't convince Ken Jeong to come on Comedicine, I don't know who can. This guy's like totally TikTok famous, YouTube famous. He's an amazing person. Ken, listen to Dr. Will Flannery and what he has to say.
Any comedian loves to hear themselves talk. It's like a prerequisite. So I'm sure Ken Jeong is no different. So hey, Ken, you want to come in and just hear yourself talk for a while? It's great. I mean, Sarah's great too. Like, she's fantastic and asks great questions. But it's all about you, Ken. And so Phil, come in. It just get that ego going a little bit. It's nothing wrong with that. You're a successful, smart guy. So definitely come on and enjoy it.
All right. For episode 8, we did something a little different. We brought back Dr. Vien Phommachanh from episode 2, and he was the host. And this time I was the guest, which was super fun. And it meant I got to answer my own question, was inviting Ken on the show. So here's what I had to say. I might have gone a little long. I'm quite enthusiastic about inviting Ken Jeong to come on Comedicine. The reason I want Dr. Ken Jeong to be on the show is, I don't remember which late night show it was, but he was sitting on the couch, a late night show. He was being interviewed. It was years ago. Yeah, I think it was when The Hangover was really popular and he was promoting that. And they said something like, don't you miss medicine, or don't you want to go back into medicine? And he was like, hell no. I can't remember if he said that exactly, but he was like, I'm in movies. Why would I want to do that? Why, it's so stressful. And I found that hilarious because sometimes the expected answer is, I feel a duty or I want to, but he was just like, I'm not. So that's one reason that he's my hero, because he didn't even have any pretense that he would want to go back. I think he was an ER physician. I can't remember exactly, but he was just like, And his wife is a physician, but he was just like, no. So that is why I want him on, because I want to talk more about that and about, if you really make it as a comedian, as a actor, as a film star, how different is that from my day to day? I think very different. So, okay, but now this is funny because I wrote this into Chat GPT and I asked Chat GPT to write an invitation from me to Ken in square brackets. It has stage directions for me,
Awesome.
which I find hilarious. So I'm going to read this with the stage directions. So it says in brackets, start with some lighthearted humor. It says, ladies and gentlemen, boys and germs, welcome to Co-Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah Boston. I guess that's not fair right now because I'm not the host, but the world's only veterinary surgeon comedian. That may be true. And I'm about to prescribe you a dose of laughter and medical wisdom. Okay, and then it says transition into introducing Ken Jeong. Now, folks, picture this. You're in a comedy club and suddenly the room fills with laughter and medical marvels. Who could that be? None other than the hilarious and medically inclined Dr. Ken Jeong. And then it says highlight his medical background. I'm not going to do that. You might remember him from his side-splitting performances in The Hangover, Community, or his real-life heroic stint. It's a stint, apparently, what you're doing, Vien. His heroic stint as a physician. I mean, who else can say they've made us laugh hysterically and saved lives? Build up the anticipation. But here's the kicker, Ken. We need you on Co-Medicine. Imagine the synergy, a veterinary surgeon and a stand-up comedian teaming up with Dr. Ken Jeong, the master of medical mirth. We'd be the ultimate dream team of medical comedy. Add a humorous twist. And let's not forget, we've got some animal health questions that only a true animal lover, I don't know if he is one, can answer. We promise no monkey business. Well, maybe a little monkey business. And then it says, wrap it up. This is too long, Chat GPT. So, Dr. Ken Jeong, we invite you to join us on Co-Medicine for a dose of laughter, heartwarming pet tales, and medical anecdotes that'll tickle your funny bone. What do you say, Ken? Will you prescribe us some laughter and grace our podcast with your comedic genius? And with enthusiasm. Remember, laughter is the best medicine, and we're about to overdose our listeners with it. Let's make Co-Medicine history together. Contact us and let's heal the world one punchline at a time.
I don't know how he could say no.
How could he say no to that?
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up our little pseudo-episode, our montage of Ken Jeong invitations. I hope you enjoyed that. It was very fun to put together, and I hope that you'll join us for season 2. That will be coming out in the new year. Ken, if you're still here, I think we have a chance. So let's talk, Ken. Let's get in touch. I would love to talk to you about your career because it's fascinating to me. And everybody else, thank you for supporting Co-Medicine, and we will see you back in the new year. I want to give a quick thank you to our title exclusive sponsor, Hill's Pet Nutrition. Thank you so much. This podcast wouldn't be possible without them. And a very quick story. This company actually started in the late 1930s when a veterinarian named Dr. Mark Morris developed a new diet in his kitchen to help a man whose seeing eye dog was in renal failure or kidney failure. And even from those humble beginnings, this company hasn't changed that much because Hill still believes in good quality ingredients. They believe in working with veterinarians and they believe in science. So thanks, Hills, and thanks, science. And I have so much gratitude for your help with this podcast. And that wraps up this episode of Co-Medicine. I've been Dr. Sarah Boston. Thank you so much for listening. I just want to give a big shout out to our exclusive title sponsor, Hill's Pet Nutrition, for helping to make this podcast possible and for supporting veterinarians and initiatives like this. Really, literally couldn't do it without you. I want to thank musical genius and stand-up comedian Mark Edwards for making music that somehow makes me laugh. I don't know how he does it. Please check out his info in his show notes. He's a stand-up comedian and actor. He's absolutely hilarious. And big thank you to my producer, Heather McPherson from Twisted Spur Media, who just seems to make everything work and everything sound great. And I also couldn't do this podcast without her. Thank you for listening. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. That might actually be hard because I am obsessed with this podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please let us know, let your friends know, give us likes and nice comments, do all the things, help support this new podcast. If you didn't enjoy this podcast, I don't know what you're still doing here. You know what? If you didn't enjoy it, you can just do nothing. Nothing would be good. We will see you next episode. Thank you.